Welcome back to NewsWire here on SportsGrid. We got Bill Bender from Sporting News in the house. It feels like a long time ago when Ohio State was just crowned the national championship. It really wasn't. It was last Monday night. Bill is with us here to go over the latest. Bill, it does feel like a long time ago because just so much has happened since then. We know the Super Bowl teams and all that. But you were at the national championship. You saw Ohio State get the job done. Certainly Notre Dame, kind of creep back into it to make it closer, but pretty big signature win for Ryan Day at OSU.
Yeah, and I think it offers a blueprint for bettors in the future. When you're picking a national championship team in this new format, maybe go with the deepest, most talented team, and that's what Ohio State was. You look at this defense, probably all 11 of those guys on the starting lineup are going to play in the NFL. Will Howard played very well in that final game. Craig, I don't know about you, but I could sense after about 2 drives that, man, this offense is too much for Notre Dame right now. Yeah. And then it was a very good Notre Dame defense. But, yeah, I mean, for when you're looking at odds for next year, you might want to take the team that has the most talent, has the most NFL players, and is built to win 3 or 4 games.
The big story coming out of this for Ohio State was definitely a strange one as their defensive coordinator ends up going to Penn State. Now, Bill, in years past, you and I growing up, you would never see anything like this. A coordinator leaving to go against a rival in the same conference. But look, I suppose if the players can do it, why can't the coaches?
Yeah, and leaving on the day that they're celebrating a national championship in Ohio Stadium, and so he wasn't there. And so a couple layers to this. For Ohio State, who do they hire next? That's one of the best coordinator positions in all of college football. You're inheriting you're going to have to fix some things because, like I said, a lot of those guys are going to go to the NFL, but you still have Caleb Downs, who is arguably the best player in college football if Jeremiah Smith isn't. So Ohio State will be able to build off those guys. As for Penn State, what a pickup. By the way, Penn State has ranked in the top 10 in scoring defense each of the last 4 years. Manny Diaz did a nice job there. Tom Allen did a nice job there. And now you bring in Jim Knowles, who has a little bit of a different scheme. It relies on the safety quite a bit, but he's going to do things the way he wants. And I thought announcing it while Ohio State was celebrating was one of those petty things we love about college football.
Definitely the case. And speaking of petty, nobody knows that word more than Brian Kelly does. My gosh, leaving Notre Dame, didn't think that Marcus Freeman would be more coveted as a coach than Kelly, but here we are 3 seasons later, and Kelly's teams at LSU have lost 3 games every single year. Now, if Kelly wasn't the last name of LSU's coach and this was their record, you may look at it and go, all right, this isn't bad for LSU. But he came in with such fanfare and had 4 losses this season, Bill. I kind of feel like there's pressure on every coach at the SEC level, but maybe some extra on Kelly this year.
Yeah, and he caught a lot of strays during the playoff from people saying, Notre Dame got there without him. And I would be one of the people that said Notre Dame wouldn't be in this spot if not for Brian Kelly. He did bring an era of stability to that program. Yeah, they didn't beat Clemson. And they didn't beat Alabama in those playoff semifinals, but neither did anybody else. So, but it does turn up the pressure for next year. They are one of the boomer bust teams, in my opinion, with Garrett Nussmeier coming back at quarterback, with the transfer portal additions they've made, and they've been very active in the portal this offseason as opposed to last offseason. And the schedule. They haven't won an opener, Craig, since 2019. And who are they playing in week 1? At Clemson. So I don't know who makes these LSU schedules. Maybe schedule somebody easy in here in the opener one of these years because Brian Kelly has been unable to win the opener, and here they are with another tough one.
Yeah, they are. Garrett Nussmeier is one of the favorites to win the Heisman Trophy Award, one of the few quarterbacks that's actually heading back to school. He is 8-1 to win the Heisman Trophy. Their win total, 8.5 going into next year. To win the SEC, they are 10-1. If that's going to happen, they're going to have to beat Alabama. The Crimson Tide 9-4 last season. They're going to be ranked in the top 10 again. I guess the question is, we mentioned pressure. I mean, is it fair to have pressure on Kalen DeBoer here? I mean, I guess there's going to be that on every team in the SEC, but my gosh, I mean, year 1, can we give the guy a break? I know that they lost the bowl game. They didn't look great in that. 9 wins on the season. he can't be a 2 and done, can he?
I don't think so, but he just got a crash course in just how much pressure there is when you coach at Alabama. It is very much like Ohio State. They anticipate and expect to win every game. And here he is in year one. They had ups and downs. They beat Georgia. That was a nice win. They win the Iron Bowl. They beat LSU, but you lose to Vandy. And then you have the dud at Oklahoma. And you lose to Tennessee, which they've lost 2 out of the last 3 to Tennessee. Alabama fans don't like that. Compound it with a terrible performance in the bowl game against Michigan. So I do think there's going to be some level of pressure on Kalen DeBoer in year 2. September's not easy. Again, Florida State will be better. They play Florida State in the opener. Some people are coining that the Anxiety Bowl. I've seen Ralph Russo refer to that as that, the athletic writer. They play Wisconsin again. And then they play Georgia at the end of September. So it is a high-pressure first month for Alabama, who I would deem another kind of boom or bust team. Alabama and LSU and all these way too early preseason top 25s, they're both in the top 10. So we're going to see if they can live up to those expectations next season.
Yeah, I think, Bill, you're fair on all expectations there. Meanwhile, the University of Miami got a little lucky, Bill. I mean, let's just keep it real. Did Carson Beck just follow his girlfriend to the University of Miami? It sure feels like he did. I mean, I got to call it what it is. I mean, he just all of a sudden committed to Miami out of nowhere, and good for him. I hope he and Cavender, they don't break up. Their total is 8.5 to win the ACC. It's 3-1. I think personally, Bill, I think this number is too high. I think Beck is okay, but I mean, he is not 60%. I don't think of Cam Ward. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I think Miami's going to take a step back.
They could, and he's got to limit the turnovers next season, regardless of what he's doing off the field in terms of, the Miami lifestyle. Let's just put it that way. I think Miami did take a step forward. If he doesn't turn the ball over with their schedule, they could make a run in the ACC.
Great stuff, Bill, as always. I know that we're winding down with you and me here soon, but we appreciate you coming on the show as always.
Thank you.